what a weekend. And we shall discuss, trust me, in just a moment with our guest today. Newspapers before we do, and we're in something of a rush, Andrew, because I don't want to waste too much time.
No.
Our guest today is worth hearing from. Coronavirus R infection number now above 1 in the northwest. The reason this leapt out at me is this is the barometer by which the government have said if it goes above whatever the R rate is, and please, I don't know, I just work on the basis of what I'm told.
Below 1, containable.
Okay.
Above 1, non-containable.
It's non-containable in the northwest. How does that work now then with the return to playing Premier League football in that part of the world? No one's answered the question yet. I hope that they will going forward. It's concerning. Chelsea's planned pay cuts doomed, so say the newspaper we don't mention, because other players would be a little bit fed up were that to be the case now, having spent 54 million on Timo Werner.
Yes.
I will get back to that in just a moment, Andrew. But it's understandable if that were the
totally
case,
understandable.
is it not?
Yes.
Liverpool apparently in the clear to play at Anfield, their remaining Premier League fixtures. But that was a story I read prior to the coronavirus rate going over 1 in the northwest. So again, we wait for developments. Jadon Sancho, fined for flying from Germany to the UK to get his hair cut. He says a ridiculous fine, not by Dortmund, but by the German Federation for breaking lockdown rules.
What do you think?
After what I've been seeing this weekend,
But he shouldn't be flying, should he, really?
he shouldn't be going anywhere.
No, that's what
in
I mean.
truth. But
That's what I'm saying. If he's flown from Germany to England and back.
in Portugal, 2 Benfica players injured after an attack on the team bus following their first game back. And we shouldn't laugh.
I know, but
football's back. If that's
back.
the case, we can
more
really
ways
say.
than you think.
On a serious note, time to act. Back page of the Mail on Sunday. Premier League stars urged to take the knee before games in support of, obviously, all the various different,
Well, I think
all around the world,
precedent's been set,
demonstrators
Richard.
that have
I
been,
think it's an absolute certainty.
voicing their opinions about George Floyd. Premier League chiefs set to crack down on football's COVID-idiots with big fines possible and points and penalties by way of conversation here. The top flight's rulers want to protect Project Restart against sloppy behaviour by clubs and players, which could lead to a coronavirus spike. So everything's got to be done absolutely perfectly.
Not quite.
Which leads me to wonder why Tyrone Mings, I understand why Tyrone Mings was out on the streets, but should he have been this weekend? There's another somewhat controversial subject. Nothing to report. Chelsea's Timo Werner transfer hits a stumbling block as Leipzig say, well, the deal isn't done. That's why I said, hold on, let me come back to that. They say they've heard nothing from anybody. There's no bid on the table.
Chelsea just dipping their toe in the water, maybe.
John Barnes, our guest tomorrow. We'll discuss with John this subject. Black people have had an invisible knee on their necks for far too long. Brilliant piece from John in the Times. He is the go-to man on the subject of racism. I love listening to him on that subject. He's got so much good sense. David Silva, an opportunity to finish his career in Qatar, according to the Sunday Mirror.
Really?
Okay. We don't do gambling in our part of the world, but Andy Dunn here from the Sunday Mirror. If bookmakers have not yet started a book on which manager will make 5 substitutions in one hit, they're missing a trick. Jose Mourinho, of course,
he'd be favourite.
Would be the odds-on
favourite. He would be
favourite.
He would be absolute favourite.
Love this because I love these scenarios. Ryan Giggs has revealed how a stitch-up by Brian Robson saw him chased out of Fergie's office very early in his career. Everybody at Manchester United, 1992, was driving a club car, except Giggsy. And he's played about 15, 20 games. And Robbo said, well, you should go and speak to the manager about that. You know, we've all got one. Why haven't you got one? So he did.
Well done,
and he
Robbo.
very quickly was wishing that he hadn't
Short
bothered.
shrift from Fergie, I think.
Chelsea, £70 million rated Ben Chilwell on their radar. 70 million.
Wow.
I can't believe that we've just been discussing players taking pay cuts. And now we're back in a scenario
Well, I
where
knew his name was coming up.
tens of millions.
Because I think they're being linked with Kieran Tierney from Arsenal. It's not had a great start at Arsenal, and I think he's been linked with Leicester. And I thought, why would he be linked with Leicester if they've already got one of the better young left-backs in Ben Chilwell? There's your answer.
Liverpool got it wrong very early on regarding a decision to furlough staff. We all agreed with
And
that.
they did.
But Jurgen Klopp keeps getting it right. He's been talking to a German TV station saying, well, how can we go for Timo Werner in these financial climate that currently exists? He's absolutely right.
Yeah, you can't justify it, can
Ryan Giggs again Louis van Gaal was the man that taught me so much. Not Fergie.
Not Fergie?
He said it was my first coaching.
Not Carlos Queiroz, not David Moyes.
I thought he worked with Moyes as a coach, but obviously not.
Well,
Manchester City challenging their UEFA ban today.
Yeah.
They say there's 200 million on the line for the club. I think there's a lot more than that. I think there's a whole lot more than that, Andy, when you start to consider players that might not want to stay around were they to be banned. But they are confident, according to the Daily Telegraph, of getting that ban lifted. Neutral venues could still be used when the top flight returns. Maybe that's a hint about the R rate. That's from the Telegraph today. And Britain's sporting apartheid must end, says Sport England's Chris Grant, a very influential player on this subject. He's quoted today in The Guardian. And West Ham's Jeremy Ngakia, 19-year-old kid, has said he's not going to play beyond June the 30th when his contract runs out because he's not putting his career on the line.
Okay.
I get that. In fact, I advocate that.
Well, I wouldn't.
I know. There's a new app available. It's like a dating app. You go on this app. If you're looking to buy players, Andy, you can sign up to use the app, and you spend 20 minutes discussing the player with the club that he is currently represented by. This takes agents out of the mix, apparently. Oh, sorry, you get a 10-minute slot. Then that's it, bang, and on to the next one, explains Dan Ashworth, the Brighton technical director. You sign up for somewhere between £165 and £2,500, depending upon which league you're playing it. Yeah, speed buying, like speed dating. The Liverpool mayor, Joe Anderson, isn't it, got himself into trouble early on in this COVID pandemic, talking about these matters, has now said that the derby match should be played at Goodison Park. And Raheem Sterling, he backs Black Lives Matter protests, saying the only disease right now is racism. Again, we shall come on to that subject in just a moment. Slight concerns from Premier League stars that those who are testing have not been tested themselves, the COVID-19 hunters.
All right.
And I think we understand
refs are being tested this week, aren't they?
Refs are being tested this week, yeah. Just very briefly, can you judge a manager or a football club on net buying?
Some people will. I don't. I think you must judge a coach on the quality of his buys and sells, and what he puts out on the football pitch. Let's say I spend 100 million and I get back 80 million, and my team's rubbish, and I spend 100 million and get back 20 million, but my team is absolutely sensational. Who's the better coach?
Yeah. Well, the reason I ask is that there's a table here that's been published. The net spend over the last 5 seasons, Liverpool sit 14th. 14th?
There you go. I rest my case. I didn't see that, but I rest my case. Would Liverpool rather be top of that league, that particular league, and be sitting 14th in the league? I would rather be 14th in that one, and where they are now.
City are top, 601 million. United second, of course. Arsenal, Everton, Brighton, Wolves. 14th, Liverpool, which I think is extraordinary. And this is interesting. Injuries up 225% in the Bundesliga.
How do you work that out?
You work that out by comparing it to the same period of the season 12 months ago.
No. Well,
225%.
There wasn't a season 12 months ago. The season was finished 12 months ago.
No, not from this month. From this period in the season.
Listen, I've been watching the Bundesliga. I haven't seen too many injuries to worry about. Yes, there'll be aches and pains. Yes, there'll be pulls and strains. Of course there will. We're in a totally different place. I didn't think there would be less injuries. There would be more injuries, but manageable injuries. I haven't seen players carried off every game of watching the Bundesliga. You're going to get strains and pulls like you would in a pre-season, at the beginning of a pre-season. I mean, does that mean we don't start then? Because we're going to get aches and pains?
It's just worth pointing out.
Yes, I know.
That those
I knew you would point that one out actually today. Yeah,
there might be excessive injuries going forward. May have just been proven.
Keep the physios busy.
Correct. Let us introduce you to our guest today. Manchester United ambassador.
Yes.
Travels the world.
Yes.
When it is possible to travel the world on their behalf.
Yes.
Based these days in Manchester. When he played, we used to call him the Smiling Assassin.
He was coached by me at one time in his life.
Well, you say that. But,
well, it was.
All right, let's ask him. I can hear him laughing.
Yes.
There we go.
Yorke. Yes. Yes or no? Coached by me at one time.
It's a yes. It's a yes.
Yeah, okay.
It's a definitely yes.
What did you learn after being coached by Andrew Gray for 12 months, Mr. Yorke?
Oh, too much. We haven't got long enough, Yorke.
I have to say, it was long enough. It wasn't long enough because I obviously loved Andy when he was at Villa. I'm not just saying that because he's there now, but he really had made an
This is
impact
going
with
the
me
wrong
in the
way.
12 months that he had been as a coach. It was fantastic, Kizzy. He was everything that I needed in a coach. He believed in me. He's a centre forward himself. He taught me how to head the ball, the runs to make, to get in there where it hurts
Oh dear, oh
defenders.
dear, oh dear.
Um, so yeah, all the stuff. I'm sure you'll be very pleased about what I'm about to say about it.
I was hoping that conversation might go in a different direction.
A man who speaks the truth. Thank you, Yorkie. It was, by the way, that's reciprocated. It was a pleasure.
But like John Gregory, did you want to go after him with your gun when he left to go and join Manchester United?
No.
John Gregory was fine. John Gregory was fine. He just had one of those moments. But yeah, I mean, I had a good rapport with Gregos when he was assistant manager, and then until he moved into that managerial role, then that's when he sort of changed towards me when I said I wanted to go to Manchester United, which is understandable because arguably I was the best player at the club, and he needed all his best player there, and I told him that I was ready to leave because I needed a new challenge. So I can understand why he was being upset.
Yeah.
So, should Jack Grealish make the same move?
Ooh.
Yeah, it's one that I've been keeping my eye on, and I see that yes, I can see this move being possible. The simple reason behind it because I know Ollie is a huge fan of him as well. The fact that Villa is in the current position that they are in, unless them get themselves out of it, he may take another year or two before he moved on. But if they were to get relegated, I can see it happening. I don't see any reason why. If you have any ambition, you want to be at the top club. You want to go challenging yourself as much as Villa has been his boyhood dream of playing there. He's done that. He's got them promotion. Unfortunately, we'll have to wait and see how the season panned out. But yeah, I wouldn't say to anybody not to make a move or leaving Aston Villa, which is a huge club, as Andy Gray will vouch for. But at the same time, your career is only for a certain time, and United are certainly one of the biggest clubs in the world.
And I think also, Yorkie, it's funny that it's a bit like yourself when I go back to when Dwight left. People would criticise you, Aston Villa fans, but that was because they were disappointed you were leaving. But they tend to forget how long you actually spent at Aston Villa. And it's a bit like Jack. Jack's been at Aston Villa since he was a kid. He's now, 24? So he hasn't just been at Villa for 2 years and now he's doing a runner. He stayed at Villa through relegation, promotion again, like yourself. So he's justified, isn't he, Dwight, if he wants to move on, to be able to do so?
It does. And as I said, we are in a sport that people get very short memories at times. As you said, Andy, I spent nearly 10 years at Aston Villa, and
right.
It seems like people didn't think I was there for a long time. But when you get to the stage I've managed to win things with Villa at the time, and then of course when you get to 26, I was coming up to my 26th birthday. You feel like you needed a new challenge. I needed a new platform to really excel. And when you got the likes of Man United are chasing after you, it's a no-brainer not to join such a huge club. So yeah, Jack Grealish he's very much in the same position as I am. So if Villa get relegated, I don't see any reason why you shouldn't be moving on.
No, I don't. I mean, I think everybody would understand that too. Yorkie, should players take the knee when the Premier League returns?
I think so. I think the Black Lives do matter. You can see the movement that is happening. I think it's just a sign of togetherness when you do that, because we all are one. It doesn't matter what color, race you are. What we see in the movement now is for real. It's happening. It's on a global spectrum now as well. I don't see any reason why there's any players should be rejecting if they take the knee to it. You're seeing the likes of Liverpool have certainly set the benchmark earlier on, and I expect every team to follow as well.
What have you made of the various demonstrations worldwide this end?
Well, as I said, this Black Lives does matter. We're seeing glimpse of it in the past, over the past 200 years. We have seen glimpse of it remember, even as a black person growing up in the Caribbean, you tend to watch the television and seeing all the riots over the years in America, the segregation over these years. And it's hard to watch. And now we are experiencing it in my lifetime now, that this movement is for real, and we have to take it serious, because in the inequality that we have seen in and around the world is just not fair. And it's about time something needs to be done. And this is why the movement is real. And this is why you're not just seeing black people demonstrating, you're seeing all color, all walks of life, every single race, every gender as well is participating in this movement. So it's about time that we all speak out what we are experiencing as well.
Dwight, the phrase that I'm hearing at this time, as well as Black Lives Matter, is people that I listen to, I've seen on television and listened to them, they say, it feels different. Does it to you? Does it feel different this time?
Well, it is. Andy, as I said, you look back in the past, decades, we have seen these type of demonstrations, but nothing compared to this type of movement. This movement is really gone on the global spectrum, everywhere, every day for the last 2 weeks. The crowd seems to get bigger. And so this time is real. When we've seen what, George has to experience, you're seeing the nail on his, the police brutality. It's there now with the camera, with the social media. We are seeing it. We know it was behind the scene for a period of time, but now we actually witnessing it with our eyes. And then when you see the brutality from that police in the George Floyd incident, you can only look up and cringe and think, this is the time for we to start speaking out and reaching out so people can understand what we had to suffer over the years.
Yorke, those who don't know you would have a view of you as being something of a playboy, someone who's enjoyed his life. And by the way, nothing wrong with that, even if the first part of that suggestion doesn't count. Those who do know you, and Andy and I are two that I'm proud to say are close to you. We know you as being a football man, a serious football man, a serious sportsman, someone that plays scratch golf, is dedicated to what he does. Yeah. Now, you've wanted to give back within our sport, football, for a long time. You've wanted to find a coaching role, haven't been able to. Do you think that is because you're perceived to be fun, or because you're black?
I think there is a bit of both in there, but let's call it for what it is, Keezy and Andy. Let me put the question to you. We are here sitting now, we're talking about football, which is our world, which is what I know. I don't know what's happened out there because I'm not used to that type of lifestyle out there. I'm used to football, so I do know football. So let's just call it for what it is now. The Premier League at this current time, is there any black manager?
No.
Maybe let's look around the world. The Italian league, is there any black managers? In the Bundesliga, possibly one, I think. If you do your research, the Spanish league, is there any? None. And it keeps going and going. Why is that? You've got to ask yourself. As you said, let's even look at it. Maybe even in the backroom staff. In the 20 years, me being a professional footballer, I remember one black masseuse. One. Nobody, not even in the backroom staff. You can't even get in. And as you know, and you both know, because I've been on this show before, I've asked to even, for an interview as a player, as a manager trying to get in. I can't even get an interview. So, you wonder and you ask yourself, what is the reason why? And you look around you in the past 10 years or so, maybe in the last couple of years, you see the transformation of some players being fast forward into management so quickly. Maybe haven't even got the CV as you, but they all been given chance. All we are asking is just for a chance. But you're not even given a chance. You're not even getting You're not even getting an interview. So it must be that. What else could it possibly be? And so my point is, what I'm trying to get to, Keezy, is that yeah, it has to be a matter that you're black, because there is just no black managers or in any way or form getting in. So it is a problem.
Are you saying, Dwight, that the Rooney Rule, which was brought in how many years ago, Richard?
Well, for lower league clubs, for championship.
That is a question.
Yeah, what you're saying, sorry, Dwight, is that the Rooney Rule that was brought in allegedly to allow any job that was up, that a BAME, somebody from the BAME community would be able to go for an interview. That's what you were asking for. Are you saying it's been a waste of time?
It is an absolutely joke, Andy. It's not been implemented whatsoever. And if you go even deeper, you follow it in America, in the NFL.
Yeah.
There's this new rules that just set in that, if you hire a black manager, you go up somewhere up in the league or something like that. So the players obviously, gone against that, because it's like a token gesture. This Rooney Rule that they've been implementing for years. I know Sol Campbell. I spoke to Sol Campbell. He went to Grimsby. He was trying his nuts off just to try and get a job. He went through to Macclesfield, someone who's played the level he has, and now he's at Southend. When you've seen other players, today, and I can call names, but I won't. But there are other players today. It's been fast forward and fast tracked so fast. And then the one response I got when I applied for Villa job twice now, I got one response from the CEO, and his response was to me, I need experience. Where am I going to go and get experience if I'm not been given a chance?
Yeah.
It's just insane. But I'm saying you look at the championship now, look at the players who has been fast forward into management with no experience whatsoever. You look at some players, even in the Premier League, been fast forward into management. You look in the Scottish League, there are players there who's been fast forward into management. But yet, when it comes to someone like myself, I've been told to go and find experience. Well, what experience do I need? My CV is equally as impressive as them.
Your great mentor remains Sir Alex Ferguson. Is it going to require someone such as him, with the standing he has in the game, to make this point on your behalf in order for us to start to embrace even change?
Well, let me tell you this, Keezy. It's a fact that Sir Alex Ferguson, who's been tremendous and very like a father figure, like you have always heard, and even to this day he remains. When I first applied for the Villa job, I went into his office. I told him exactly what I was trying to do as a player. He gives me some experience. He told me what I needed to do. I picked his brain. And then at the same time, he said he picked the phone up at the time and rang Villa for me to give his recommendation. Wow. And he's always said to me, if I need anything, a recommendation into management, he would vouch for me. Even to this day. And with him and with his help, I still can't get an interview. To this day. And that is what we are facing today. And for me, when we come across this time now, you just really sit and wonder why. Because you have seen, on the other hand, where you've seen white players been given that platform with very little experience, straight into management, and yet we are talking. And as I said, let's call it for what it is today, Andy and Keezy. We haven't seen a black manager in the Premier League. And I would go as far as look at the backroom staff. There's probably not even a black person in the background staff, even the backroom staff as well.
Yorke,
there is a serious issue here.
There is. Our subject of the conversation today was changed entirely by the weekend's events. We had intended to talk to Dwight today about many different things. I'm pleased we haven't. I'm pleased that you've seen the real Dwight Yorke, someone who, yes, can smile because he spent a whole lifetime doing that, but equally is prepared to sit and talk honestly, not just about this subject, but about football. He is a football man.
Absolutely.
And wants to be able to express his love of the game from within the inside rather than out as he is at the moment. And listen, Yorke, it's been great to see you. Time is done for us, but thank you very much for some very powerful contributions to an important debate right now. And continue to enjoy Dubai. I hope you haven't given up. You're still looking for a job.
Yeah, I'm still going. I'm gonna fight this all the way. I'm still very hopeful. I've applied for a couple of jobs outside of England now because that might be the route for me to get back. I'm prepared to go to that length to try and get back involved in the football. But all we're asking is just for a chance. Just give us a chance, and that opportunity hasn't really arisen yet. So yeah, still hopeful. In the meantime, I try and keep the golf going, keep me abreast, and hope that I get that chance that I can show what I can do.
Yeah, keep the faith, Yorke. Thank you.
Thank you, mate. Nice to talk.
Appreciate it, guys.
Dwight Yorke from
Thanks.
Dubai, where he is based at the moment, Manchester United ambassador, and he's looking for a job. So if you've got one somewhere and can start a change, a real change, then do please get in touch.
I certainly think there's nothing you can argue with what you say. I mean, there are many people who might sit and argue, but how can you?
It's as quiet as we've been, and understandably so as well. Big thanks again to Dwight. You're watching us on beIN Sports at this same time again tomorrow, only for this week. We close down Friday because we've got some live football to look forward to a week or so after that. But John Barnes will be with us tomorrow to continue this debate. And as I've said once or twice early today, he's just fascinating on the subject. So in the meantime, international viewers, it's YouTube for you, and
stay safe, everyone.
Please, and whatever else.